All right, let's talk Michigan Wolverines. Of course, the regular season is still a little ways away, but it feels closer and closer. There's a lot of buzz around Ann Arbor, a lot of buzz outside of Ann Arbor right now, talking about the Wolverines, but lost in the noise is a really incredible job by Sharon Moore and this coaching staff. No one is paying attention to this, but I think it's phenomenal stuff. And you Wolverines fans, you're going to love this. We'll get to the latest in just 1 second. But first, I'm Nick. That's Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, there's two truisms, or at least what we think are truisms when it comes to major college football, right? Anytime you go from a big name, legendary status kind of head coach to a sort of new head coach, there's a drop off in talent, a drop off in recruiting, a drop off in transfers, however you want to quantify it. There's a drop off in talent. Also, anytime you're a program that's under scandals or suspensions or any stupidity that a lot of the bogus crap that Michigan's had to deal with, which I think we can all agree is overblown and idiotic at this point, but it has happened. There's been some suspensions already. Well, anytime that happens, the common wisdom is recruiting drops, transfer portal drops, your roster gets weaker. What Sharon Moore and the Wolverines have done is they have defied the logic in both of those instances. Both of those things are truisms, right? You ask anyone in college football going back decades, they say, yeah, you go from great head coach to new head coach, recruiting's going to drop. You have any sort of scandal whatsoever, fair or not, recruiting's going to drop, but that's not what has happened. Let's go into the data here. Let's pull up our first chart here. 24/7 Sports is the recruiting service we use to accumulate all this data, but this is first Michigan's recruiting score 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. You can see it actually slightly dips. These are all really good numbers, by the way, but it slightly dips 2022 and 2023. So right there, 2023 to 2024, Harbaugh's gone, right? He's going to the NFL. He's taking a lot of coaches with him. Go to the Chargers. We're going to expect a big old dip in recruiting. Not so. We see a big spike in recruiting. Well, what the detractors say and the critics say, well, it's just because they won the national championship. They got all this buzz. Now they got into this offseason, a little bit of a step back year, obviously. There's been all the noise and the drama. Recruiting up again, spike again. You can see 2025 numbers on the far right. They are defying logic. They're defying the prevailing wisdom that all the so-called experts seem to have about college football. Michigan, Sharon Moore is proving them wrong. Let's go to our next graphic here. This is the transfer score. Transfers are a little bit more volatile. Obviously, you can see 2022, 2023. The last 2 years are Harbaugh. It kind of dips between 25 and a little over 50. The 2 years since, much more stable, much more consistent. Obviously, not really big numbers if you look at Wolverine's scores compared to some other programs that are much more transfer dependent. But still, we're not seeing a massive drop off in transfers. We're not seeing transfers go away. In fact, Moore's 2024 and 2025 transfer portal class was better than Harbaugh's 2022 class, both of those seasons, despite, again, the prevailing wisdom. Program under some scandals, some suspensions. You've got a new head coach after a big name legendary guy leaves. Again, Sharon Moore defying the wisdom, and no better chart exemplifies that. We got a third chart for you. Big Microsoft Excel channel. Love using our charts here. And this is just the cumulative talent added. Harbaugh versus Moore. Last 2 years of Harbaugh, little less than 600 points. You can see that on the left side. First 2 years of Moore, little more than 600 points. You can see that on the right side. Again, this blows away any sort of prevailing wisdom. Every expert that has any opinion, any sort of historical context of college football says what Sharon Moore in Michigan has done is impossible. If you're under scandal, if you're under suspension, recruiting should fall off a cliff. If you have the legendary head coach leave, recruiting should fall off a cliff. Instead, Michigan has gotten more talented. This is crazy stuff. And it's not like they were bad before, obviously. They had a lot of great talent before the last couple of years of Harbaugh. So, again, what Sharon Moore in Michigan has done is absolutely undeniably incredible. It's unprecedented. It's unheard of. Whatever adjective you want to use, whatever hyperbole you want to use, it's probably not enough. A lot of people are looking at Michigan with the suspension and the stupidity going on with that, and they're just like, oh, this program's on the decline, right? They're tossing them aside. When you look at the numbers and you look at the data, this is not a program on the decline. This is a program on the upswing. They will be returning back to the top of the college football world, competing for deep playoff runs and national champions very, very soon. The data, the talent supports that. All right, Mize, I'm curious what your thoughts are on all of this. But first, Michigan fans, in the comment section below, look, obviously, you guys can't wait for college football to start. All of us can't wait for it to start. It's still a few months away, but it feels closer and closer. To that end, outside of the one game we know matters more than any other, what's one matchup you're looking forward to this upcoming season, right? So maybe a game you're going to go see. Maybe it's another Big Ten rivalry game that you think means a lot to you for whatever reason. Give us the one Michigan matchup you're looking forward to this season more than any other, except of course the Ohio State game. Let's put that one aside, of course. Give us that matchup in the comment section below. But Mize, over to you now. What are your thoughts looking at this data here for Michigan?
Yeah, Nick, I think the data, it speaks for itself and it just shows on paper by the numbers. And that's the thing that people need to really understand. That's the most important thing is on paper by the numbers. Is this team trending in the right direction for recruiting? Yes, that is the case. But also, if you don't listen to the mainstream media who probably talks negatively about Michigan a long time, but you look at some of, the stories around bloggers, people talk about Michigan, and see the headlines just from today. Let's go off headlines from today. You can get the same kind of vibe that these charts see. You see 5-star offensive linemen trending towards Michigan football, going on official visit. Talked about Felix Oho, 5-star offensive lineman, looking at Michigan. That seems like a pretty good trend in the right direction for recruiting to me. You go to the next one I have here. Michigan in heated recruiting battle with Notre Dame and Penn State for 4-star defensive linemen. Think, if they're contending with Notre Dame and Penn State, two top programs for a big name defensive lineman, that sounds like they're doing good. If they're in that top three, something's going right for them there. And then finally, the last one I have in there, remember, these are from today. It says Michigan football, it goes on the road recruiting again, and they're in the top group for a lot of blue chip talent. Talking about two guys in particular here for them. But I think that just shows the Wolverines, they're doing really great recruiting. A lot of blue chip talent is still looking at Michigan. Things are trending up in the right direction. This is a team that is going on. They have a plan. They know what they're doing. They know how to navigate these circumstances. Unfortunately for Michigan, they've had these, BS type of allegations going around for a little while now. They go all the way back to the Harbaugh giving somebody a cheeseburger as a recruiting violation. That they had to have some, sanctions for that as well. This is a team that knows how to deal with the stuff, and they know how to, even though they put some self-imposed non-contact with, recruits, people that they're going after, they have a game plan to allow them to boost this recruiting, pipeline. And one thing I read, another article here that I think is very interesting, is they're starting up now. They're going back out on this road, trying to hit this last part of the 2026 class hard. And they're doing it by having satellite programs all around the country in three key spots for them. And it's the company called Sound Mind, Sound Body, and they partner with Michigan. They have really good 7-on-7 recruiting areas, recruiting, camps or things, so to speak, for them to go look at. First one is in Detroit. Then they're going to head to Texas and they're going to have one there. And then finally, they're going to end up in Georgia as well. So three, satellite options for Michigan to recruit all these top players. A lot of really big guys there. I think the most notable one everyone's looking at is top 100 2026 wide receiver CJ Sadler. He's going to be there. There's going to be big guys for 2027, 2028 as well. But Michigan, they know what they're doing. They have a game plan. And as you showed through the charts, you hear the headlines, you hear what Michigan's doing. Is it working? Are the numbers on the paper adding up? Undoubtedly, yes, 100%. Michigan is doing just fine. No matter what the NCAA throws at them, they seem like they are still coming out on top.
Yeah, it's important to understand and remember, right? The numbers on the paper, what they represent is good football players, right? If you take one takeaway from this entire video, it's that Michigan is getting good football players and they're continuing to get good football players into the program, regardless of the circumstance. And remember, good football players win games. Pundits don't win games, right? Commentaries don't win games. Talking heads don't win games. Reporters don't win games, right? Good football players win games. I know it's a shock to a lot of people out there, it seems, but guess what? The team that has the best football players and the most good football players and the best coaches wins the most games, right? That's generally how it works, certainly over the long term. And Michigan is just accumulating better and better football players. The stories you just highlighted, this momentum isn't slowing down, folks. They're absolutely continuing full speed ahead despite all these restrictions in the recruiting game. That talent level, that chart I showed, it's going to keep going up and to the right because this is what Sherrone Moore has done. He's done a phenomenal job in this post Harbaugh era, maintaining that talent baseline, in some ways improving on it. Now, again, it takes time, right? Last year was a transition season. We all understand that. They've got a young quarterback this year. There's going to be some volatility with that as well. But don't be surprised, folks. First of all, they're going to be a lot better than people think this year. Honestly, I think that's how it's going to go. But don't be surprised if we look forward 2 or 3 years and they're back to, like, winning the Big Ten consistently, being the best team in the Big Ten consistently, making deep playoff runs once again, upsetting. I mean, they upset Alabama again this past bowl season, so maybe that's not. They'll just keep upsetting SEC teams. I'll just word it like that. This is what Michigan has proven and shown more over the last 12, 15 months. No matter what is thrown at them, they will continue on their plan. They will continue on their process. It's been working great so far. And again, I'm going to say this one final time. The data we showed in this video today, it represents that Michigan is getting better and better and more quality football players. And if you do that, when it comes to football, you will win. And Michigan, on the trend they are on right now, regardless of what is said in the media, regardless of what is thrown at them, they will win because they have good football players.